Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Jambi. How are you?
All is well, and with yourself, sir.
Very good. Unfortunately, not so good.
May I take your phone?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Jambi. Not so good, unfortunately.
Why so, sir?
Well, unfortunately, the male escort I hired did not care to join me today.
Oh, good great, sir. Why so?
Apparently, he does not like my occupation.
The industry is rather strange at this point in time, sir. But I have just the thing for you, sir. An afternoon libation with your most favorite of sweaters.
Ooh, that would be so wonderful, Jambi.
And we will be bringing that right away, sir. So you have a nice seat there, and we will be right with you.
Jambi,
Yes, sir.
it turned out to be a wonderful day in this neighborhood.
Yes, it did, sir. Your drink, sir.
Thank you, Jambi.
You're very welcome.
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Well, it's what you do with me that we should be concerned about.
Come here, Jambi. We never talk with each other. Sit down.
Absolutely.
So, how was your night last night?
My night was excellent. The maids and I spent the evening watching Quills.
Ooh.
And how was your evening, sir?
Well, my suitor and I went out and saw Star Trek Into Darkness.
Ah, yes, I recall. And how did you enjoy that?
Well, Star Trek Into Darkness is the latest Star Trek movie from J.J. Abrams and Company. It stars Chris Pine as Captain Kirk, Zachary Quinto as Mr. Spock, and Sherlock Holmes as John Harrison. This is the latest film to remake an older film, which is called Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan.
So, why are you calling it a remake?
Well, as you know, I've seen every Star Trek movie known to man. And when I first saw the movie, this is a movie I basically call bubblegum for the brain. It's a good movie, don't get me wrong. It has a lot of action. There's decent acting in it. But overall, they may have borrowed just a little too much from Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. So much so that they should have probably just called it Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, the remake. That's how much they borrowed from it. Because after I saw this movie, I went back and I saw The Wrath of Khan. And casting Sherlock Holmes as Khan.
You think you're safe. You are not.
I don't know if I'd call that a miscast, but to me it didn't quite work, because the original one had Ricardo Montalban.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, Ricardo Montalban was playing Khan. And I could see what this movie was kind of going for when they did this. But they missed something out. In Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, Khan, it was more like a battle of wits. Not quite a battle of, I should mention there's lots of spoilers in this, so for you out in interweb land who watch this without watching the movie, you're, spoiler alert, right?
That's right.
At the end of the movie, basically, Spock goes down to Earth to punch Khan. And it kind of devolves into a fist fight where Spock punches Khan.
The intended purpose.
Yeah. Because they reversed it. In this movie, they put Kirk in the warp core room where he was doused with radiation. By the way, I gotta say, Kirk dying in this movie, he looked very good for a man dying of radiation poisoning. No skin falling off, no discoloration to the skin. Only a little bit. That's mostly lighting. But
No foaming from the mouth.
yeah, no foaming from the mouth. Nothing like that. He looked very good for a man who just died of radiation poisoning.
Only in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. Where was it? Ah, yes.
It sounds as though you're very frustrated and You have
Well, I'm
quite a bit of grievance with this film.
I'm not frustrated. Don't get me wrong, it is a good film, but to me it's just bubblegum of the brain. You don't have to think about it. You go, oh, that looks like a nice little action scene, but what they failed to capture was that the original one wasn't an action movie per se. It was it was Moby Dick in space, basically.
Moby Dick in space.
Yeah, Khan had a big old beef with Kirk and caused him to end up losing his ship and his crew and killing him in the end, where this one, spoiler alert, Spock comes down and punches Khan, and then Uhura beams down, and, well, this is the way the end goes. Uhura beams down, they try to stun Khan. He does end up going down. Khan ends up getting knocked out, which is why they used his blood to revitalize Kirk, because Khan's blood is apparently super healing. Then he can recover from radiation poisoning.
Right.
Severe radiation poisoning.
Right.
But yeah, whereas, and I'll do this in post, whereas if you look at the old one, it's really a battle of wits. Well, this is how Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan ended.
No, you can't get away. From hell's heart, I stab at thee. For hate's sake, I spit my last breath at thee.
You know, I found a little something odd here. I mean, I know this is coming from a Star Trek fan, but the acting was really, and the crew was really good. The guy who plays Dr. McCoy also played Dredd. He was really good. The only real problem is, well, I wouldn't call it a problem. It's more of a, I guess the writers, he fell into the role of, we have to have him do something. He has to have screen time.
Right.
Because for a doctor, he spends very, very little time in sickbay.
Well, yes, as most doctors do.
Very little time in sickbay. I mean, there's parts where the ship is getting attacked and people are dying and being thrown out into space, and there's injuries, you know, and people are getting hurt around the ship, and Dr. McCoy's on the bridge cracking jokes.
Right. Well, you know, he's got to keep it upbeat and lively, but I do understand your contention.
And yeah, if you look in the show, even in the Next Generation and Voyager, in all the shows, the doctors tend to be in sickbay all the time.
Well, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah. McCoy barely spent any time in sickbay. The ship's getting destroyed. He's on the bridge, not in sickbay.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know those side contracts, they can be a little tricky.
Yeah, I guess, because, I mean, there were a few plot holes, but those, you know, in a movie like this, you don't really need to pay attention to them. You know, like, because the writers are actually really good writers. Roberto Orci and the other guy, yeah, they're very good writers, but I don't know, this movie, well, the biggest plot hole is, spoiler alert, when Spock goes down to punch Khan because he needs to cure Kirk, or revive him, you know, because he hasn't got the magic blood. What they do is McCoy actually ends up unfreezing another one of the people in the pods, the frozen people. And for some reason, he could have just gotten the blood from him, rather than having to go after Khan and stunning him and hitting him over the head.
So you feel there's a lot of unnecessary.
Yeah. Whereas the old
sequencing in this whole thing.
Yeah, the old one was a nice blend of tension, battle of wits. Because at the end of the old one, Khan's ego gets the best of him, and none of that happened in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
His hubris gets to him.
Yes, it would appear so.
Star Trek movies like this shouldn't be ones where you shut off your brain. The old one, I guess it's a different style of acting between the British acting and the way Ricardo Montalban played it. Because Sherlock Holmes, he's mostly deadpan and he has, you know, one face on him. And
Captain, you're gonna punch me again over and over till your arm weakens. Clearly you want to, so tell me. Why did you allow me to live?
It was mainly a battle of strengths, which it wasn't the intention of Khan in the first place. It was supposed to be a battle of wits. That's what this one lacked, the battle of wits. What I feel this movie lacked is a sense of tension. I didn't feel any real tension between the two characters as I did in The Wrath of Khan. I guess that's the way Ricardo Montalban played it off. It's just this whole passion. That's what I feel Sherlock Holmes kind of lacked in his character, was a certain kind of passion that Ricardo had.
I've done far worse than kill you. I've hurt you. And I wish to go on hurting you. I shall leave you as you left me, as you left her, marooned for all eternity in the center of a dead planet. Buried alive. Buried alive.
I guess that's mainly what I have to say about the movie. It is a good movie, though. If you're going to go see a movie, go see Star Trek, but don't expect to have any thought behind the movie. Don't expect to have that sort of tension that you felt with the last one.
And with that, the evening is finally complete.
Will you rub the chocolate on me now, John B?
I thought you'd never ask.